Hello, comrades. Welcome in today's discussions. Remember very well now that semester has started, and we have now to embark on serious discussions. As we always do, as comrades, we always meet on a daily basis to discuss on various units in regards to accounting and statistics and also mathematics. Now, today we are on a topic called measure of central tendency and dispersion. That is where we have started our focus. We have combined various units. That is, we have compiled quantitative techniques, business mathematics, because you realize this topic they share. They have in common. You'll find them in their various resources. Good. Now, so we are going to start first to learn how to fill the distribution table and also to calculate maybe various part of this. Because this is a 20 marks question, you have to pay attention. So just hang on my lips as I take you through. Good. Now, this is just group data. This is just group data. And if you are new to the channel and you have not maybe subscribe today. And if you don't know how maybe to group this data, because this question has already grouped for us the data. So it's just a matter of us to do what? To fill the frequency distribution table. And you realize that in most cases, maybe you can get a question that you have been just given a raw data, that even it has not been grouped. So it's up to you to learn how also to do what? To group this. And there is a video on the channel. Just check on it. You'll find the data that is just ungrouped. We have already grouped. I had taken through the students how to group the data. Now, today, let us now see what our discussion will carry us through. So let's start. So this is a class, and this is always the lower class limit. This is the upper class limit. And then we have the frequency column. The F is the frequency column. The frequency column. This is the frequency column. You can call it, this is the number of, maybe number of the units, or number of the, like for this was the collection of data of trees, various trees in a certain forest. So this is the number of the units you are doing a research of, number of units maybe. Good. Or maybe you'll get another data, maybe number of students, you see. Good. So the first thing you'll always do with this data, first calculate summation. Find the summation. How many students are we going to work with? Find the summation of this. So if you get the summation, 2, you add, when I say summation, you'll see I will be using this symbol here. It means summation. It means you are just adding, you add the total items in that column. Good. So you'll add 2 plus 5. You'll add 2 plus 5, 16. Then you'll add 9 using your calculator, 5, 12, then 1. I think you will have a 50. You'll have 50. Good. So if you add that, you'll have 50. So that is, we know very well we are working with 50 units, or maybe 50 trees, or if you are dealing with the students of a class, maybe 50 students. Then the next column you'll always find in that one, I always encourage you, find what? Cumulative frequency. Cumulative frequency. I will call it CF. Cumulative frequency. Let us find cumulative frequency. How do you get the cumulative frequency? Very easy. Just see how I'll take you through. The cumulative frequency column, the first letter or the first number that will appear here is the first number that is on the frequency. So I'll put here 2. 2 will be our first number there. Then we want to get what now? The second one, you get 2 plus 5, you'll get what? 7. Then 7 plus 16. 7 plus 16, you'll get what? You'll get 23. Then 23 plus 9. 23 plus 9, you'll get 32. 32. Then 32, it is just this way. 32 plus 5, you'll get 37. Then 37 plus 12. 37 plus 12, you'll get 49. Then 49 plus 1, you'll get what? 50. Good. So that is how we get the cumulative frequency. It's very easy. You just, the first letter will be the one of the frequency, you put it here, then it will be you crisscross. So to 2 plus 5 you get 7, 7 plus 16 you get 23, 23 plus 9 you get 32, 32 plus 9 you get 37, 37 plus 12 you get 49, 49 plus 1 you get 50. The interesting part with the cumulative frequency I always love, it will always confirm for you if the frequency, you have done it well. You have done the summation well. Like for this case, you realize we get the summation here, 50. Now you'll realize the end value for the cumulative frequency will always be equal to the total summation of f, the total summation of f. So you see we have 50 here, and also we have 50 here. Good. What is our next column now? The next column, we'll get it, I'll always call it x. I will always call it x. Now, you call it x maybe because you don't know, maybe you have not get to the term, but that x is called midpoint. It's a midpoint of the lower class limit and the upper class limit. The lower class limit and the upper class limit. So this is the midpoint. This is the midpoint. You can call it midpoint. This is a midpoint. So you'll be adding 145 plus 149. 145 plus 149. You'll get what? 140. If you divide 145 plus 149 divided by 2, you'll get 147. 147. Then 150 plus 159. 150 plus 152. 150 plus 152. You'll get 152. So this plus this, you divide by 2, you'll get 152. Good. Then we proceed. The midpoint of 155 plus 159 divided by 2, you'll get what? 157. Then we proceed. 160 plus 164 divided by 2, you'll get 162. Then 165 plus 169 divided by 2, you'll get 167. Then we proceed. We go ahead. 170 plus 174 divided by 2, you'll get what? 172. 172. Then 175 plus 179 divided by 2, you'll get what? 177. Good. So that is how we get the midpoint. That's how we get the midpoint. That is how we get the midpoint. Good. We go ahead now. What next now? What next we'll get ahead to find what we call fx. To find what we call fx. Now you ask yourself, what is fx? We ask ourselves, what is fx? Fx in this case, you'll be multiplying the frequency, you multiply the product of frequency and the midpoint. The product of frequency and the midpoint. Frequency and the midpoint. Like for this case, it is the first one will be 2, you multiply by 147. 2, you multiply by 147. 2, you multiply by 147, you'll have 294. So the product of 2 multiplied by 147, you'll have 294. 294. Then 5, you multiply by 152. You get this one, you multiply by this, you'll have what? 5 multiplied by 152, you'll have 760. 760. Then you go ahead, 16 multiplied by 157. 16 multiplied by 157. 16 multiplied by 157. 16 multiplied by 157. I will have 25, 12. 25, 12. Good. Then I go ahead, 9 multiplied by 162. 9 multiplied by 162, I'll have 1458. Good. Then 5 multiplied by 167. 5 multiplied by 167, I will have 835. 835. Then I go ahead, to do 12 multiplied by 172, I will get 12 multiplied by 172. 12 multiplied by 172. I'll get what? 2064. 2064. Then I go ahead. The last one, it will be 1 multiplied by 177. 1 multiplied by this, so it will be 177. Good. So that is how we do that column, fx, fx. Good. Then we go ahead now to do what? Let us find also the summation of, we get the summation of fx. You remember very well when I started, I say to get summation of fx, it's just a matter of adding this column. We are adding this column. So it will be 294 plus 760 plus 2512 plus 1458 as you go down. So if you add that, what do you get? If you add that with your calculator, for me, I'm getting on my end 8100. 8100. Good. 8100. Now, so we'll go direct now to, we can solve the table, the frequency distribution table. You still have to add maybe like 3 columns. But I can see the question wants us to get mean. The question wants us to get mean over 3 mean. Then we also calculate what? After we calculate mean, the question wants us to get the we can get the quartiles. We can also try and get the quartiles. The quartile, that is the lower quartile, Q1. Lower quartile, we always say Q1, and the upper quartile are Q3. Then the question wants us to get the percent, the decile, and we get what? Percentile and percentile. Good. There is a video I uploaded that I've filled the table up to the end, where it will help us to calculate the standard deviation, variance, coefficient of variation, the skewness, all that, name it. But today we want to see how we can get mean. Then we calculate the quartiles, that is the upper quartile Q1, the lower quartile Q1, and the upper quartile Q3. Then we calculate the decile and percentile. Good. So let's go direct the one solution now. Solution. We get now mean. The first one we are calculating mean. And to get mean is just very easy. It's just total summation of fx divided by total summation of f. Total summation of fx, you divide by total summation of f. And already we have the total summation of fx, which is what? The total summation of fx, which is 81. 81. So 8100, we divide by total summation of f, which is 50. That's why the goodness of coming up with this table, you can see now. So we are getting very easy now. We are doing it very easy for us, because now we are just getting the figure from the table. So we now go ahead. It will be now what? It will be, if you divide that 81 divided by that, you are going to get your answer as 162. The mean, our mean will be 162. Good. Our mean will be 162. That's nice. 162. We go to the next one. We calculate now the quartiles. When you hear the word quartile, it means you are dividing your data. Which data? The 50 items or the 50 students, or you are dividing them into 4 equal parts. Into 4 equal parts. Good. Into 4 equal parts. So when you hear quartiles, just know you are dividing your data into 4 equal parts. Good. So let's see how we calculate the quartiles. Very easy also. Quartiles. And the quartiles will calculate the lower quartile Q1 and will calculate the upper quartile Q3. Then these two will help us to calculate even the interquartile range and semiquartile range. Good. Now, so we go direct to the question now. We find the upper quartile, the lower quartile. want to see how we'll calculate the lower quartile. Just very easy. The formula for the Q1, so we'll start with the Q1, is equals to L1. I'll tell you what is L1. You add in bracket N, or you can, other books will, they will find you are saying here, they will replace N with the total summation of Fx. You divide by 4. Remember, we are dividing our data into 4 equal parts. You minus the cumulative frequency before the quartile class. Cumulative frequency before the quartile class. Then you close your bracket. You divide by the frequency of the quartile class. Frequency of the quartile class. Then you multiply by the interval, class interval. Just that way. Class interval. Good. So you realize I've said L1 is the lower class boundary of the quartile class. So for those who are writing, you can say L1 is the lower class boundary of the quartile class. Then in case there's 2, you'll have somewhere we'll use L2. It's the upper class boundary of the quartile class. Then FQ is the frequency of the quartile class. Then C is the cumulative frequency before the quartile class. Then I will always represent the class boundary or the class interval. And how do you get I? It is always L2 minus L1. L2 minus L1. Good. L2 minus L1. That's wonderful. Good. Now, we ask ourselves, now, how do we get the quartile class? How do we get quartile class? The quartile class. It's very easy. How do we get the quartile class? That is always the question now, because you realize everything at the end of it. I'm mentioning quartile class. So it's very easy. I will just come here. The formula now, I'm dividing my data into 4 equal parts. So the formula for getting the class, it's N, total summation of F. I divide by 4. Where I have, it will be 50 divided by what? Divide by 4. 50 divided by 4. I will have my answer as 50 divided by 4. 50 divided by 4. I will land at what? 50 divided by 4. I will land at 12.5. I will have 12.5. So this is what is going to help us to get what? The cumulative, to get the quartile class. It's going to help us to get the quartile class. Good. Now, if you have now this, you have seen how we'll get the quartile class. Master this part very well. This is what we'll be doing, even in the median, in the percentile, and all that. So we go now to this. So you will ask yourself, with this 12.5, this 12.5, you'll come with it in the cumulative frequency column. And you ask yourself, where does 12.5 lie, can be accommodated immediately? When I just come to this, where can I put it first? You know, where can I accommodate it first? In this column. We are coming in this column. Where can I accommodate it first with this 12.5? Yes, it can be accommodated in 50, 49, 37, 32, 12.23. But now we want where I can accommodate it immediate. You can just come and you accommodate it there without going to where we can accommodate it fast. That is, I don't know. Just master those words. Fast, immediate, good. Now, I will go to 12.23 because this is where I will first accommodate before thinking of accommodating in 32. So I will accommodate it in this part, the 23. So after I've realized I'm going to accommodate it in 23 in the cumulative frequency column, so this we go with it to the cumulative frequency column. This becomes now our class, the quartile class. After you have done that, this will become your quartile class. So this will become our Q1 class. This is our Q1 class. Our Q1 class. Our Q1 class. So that is how we identify the class. That is how you identify your class. Good. After you have identified your class, now the class you are working is 155 to 159. 155 to 159. So it's easy for us to pick now the figures and we fill into the table. Fill in the table. Good. So it's very easy. So what do we do now? L1, how do you get L1? I always say on this, you'll always add a smallest value 0.5. You'll subtract, this is our L1. You subtract from 151 0.5. You'll get what? 154.5. Then 159, you add 0.5, you'll get 159.5. So this will become our L1, this will become our L2. Our L1 and this will become our L2. Good. Good. So we go now ahead. So it will be very easy for us now. If you have identified that, L1 and L2. Our L1 and L2. So what next now? So we just pick now, we already have the C for this case will be what? Remember C we said is the cumulative frequency before the quartile class. And now the quartile class we have it. So the cumulative frequency before the quartile class is 7. 7, good. And then FQ we said is the frequency of the quartile class. Frequency of the quartile class, which is now 16. Then we do what? Frequency of the quartile class is 16. Then we do the I, that is the class interval I, it will be equals to L2 minus L1. So 159.5 minus 154.5. 159.5 minus 154.5, our I will be 5. Good. So it's just a matter of now filling into this. We are going now to fill it into that. So just a matter of now Q1. Our Q1 will be equals to, our Q1 will be equals to what? L1 is what? L1. For this case, our L1 is what? Our L1 is 154. 154.5. 154.5 plus n divided by 4. N divided by 4. It is, you get n divided by 4, it's 50 divided by 4, we got it's 12.5. 12.5 minus C, cumulative frequency before the quartile class is 7. Close the bracket. Our frequency or FQ is 16. Then outside there we have 5. Good. So you can start with your bracket. You can start solving the bracket. You can start solving the bracket. Start solving the bracket. So you'll have, at the end of the day, you're going to have what? 154.5 you plus 154.5 plus 4, 4.6. 4.60. 4.60. 4.60. So when we add that, we will have what? When we add that, we'll have what? So it's 154.5 plus 4.6. 4.6. Good. So we'll have 159. Our Q1 will be 159.1. 159.1. Good. So that is how we get the upper the lower quartile. So the upper quartile, what will change in this formula? Q1. Now Q3 now, the upper quartile. How to get the upper quartile? How to get the upper quartile? That is the Q3. How do you get the upper quartile, the Q3? So the formula for Q3 is just very easy. It will be L1 plus 3n divided by 4. You minus what? You minus the cumulative frequency before the class. Then you divide by the frequency of the upper quartile class. then you multiply by the class interval. Good. So the question comes, how do we get also the upper quartile class? Very easy. The way we did here is just 3n divided by 4. So it will be equals to, it will be 3 multiplied by 50 divided by 4. We get what? Divided by 4. So we want to identify the class, the upper quartile class. So you'll get 37.5. 37.5. 37.5. And good. So this 37.5 is the one that we are going with it. This one now, we are going with this one to the cumulative frequency column. Cumulative frequency column. And you ask yourself, in the cumulative frequency column, where does that 7.5 be accommodated first or immediate before we accommodate it anywhere else? So you'll come in this part, in this cumulative frequency, and I ask myself, where can I accommodate that 7.5? And I find that cumulative frequency, it will be accommodated here, that 7. So this becomes my class. This will become my class, the upper quartile class. This will become the upper quartile class, Q3. Good. So just very easy that way. That is how the key, it's better you know how to get the class that you are working with. That is the very important lesson maybe for today, for you to capture today. Make sure you know how to get the class you are working with. So after you have identified the class, now we are going to work with the class of 165 to 169. So it's just now to pick the figures and fill into this. Pick the figures and fill into that. So it's just easy. Now let's go now. Let us get the Q3. Q3 will be what? Q3 will be what? L. So L1 for this case will be, I minus from 165, I minus 0.5, it will be 164.5 plus 3n divided by 4 we have gotten is 37.5. You close the bracket, minus cumulative frequency before that class is 32. You can even see for yourself, it's 32. 32. You close the bracket, the frequency of that class is 5 divided by 5. Then you multiply by the class interval. If you get, here we had 164. Here we had 164.5. Then here we have 169.5. 169.5 minus 164.5 is 5. Good. So if you do that, now your Q3 will be what? Your Q3 will be 164.5 plus 164.5. You'll add what? 164.5. You'll add 5.5. You'll add 5.5. You'll add 5.5. So if you use your calculator, you'll get it well. Because 37.5 minus 32, I'll have 5.5. 5.5 multiplied by 5. 27.5 divided by 5. I'll have 5.5. Then you add 2 plus 164.5. So the answer of the upper quartile, our Q3, is what? 170. Good. 170. Just easy that way. And you are just scoring your marks. You are just scoring your marks as we proceed. Good. So in case the question wants you to get the interquartile range. The interquartile range, now you'll just take the upper quartile, Q3 minus Q1. So the interquartile range is the Q3 minus Q1. So you'll get interquartile range for this case. It will be what? Interquartile range. Interquartile range, it's just a matter of Q3 minus Q1. Like for this case, it will be 170 minus 159.1. So our answer there will be what? Our answer there will be minus 159.1. So it will be 10.9. 10.9. Good. Just simple that way. And then semi-quartile range you divide by, it will be now Q3 minus Q1 divided by 2. So the answer here you divide by 2. Your interquartile semi-quartile range will be what? 5.45. Very simple. Good. So let us now calculate what? Let us now calculate the decile. Decile when you hear the word decile, it's just simple. You are dividing your data into 10 equal parts. 10 equal parts. Now this one, we are dividing our data into 4 equal parts, quartiles. So it's just the same. What will change there is 10. Nothing else in the formula. 10. Good. So let's now calculate. Now we are looking onto the decile. Decile. So let's calculate maybe ninth decile. Ninth decile. So I've said decile, you are dividing your data into 10 equal parts. 10 equal parts. 10 equal parts. 10 equal parts. Good. So what is the formula now? What is the formula? It's just very easy. Just the same thing we are doing. So in case you can be asked to calculate the maybe 8 decile, 7 decile, 6 decile. Good. So it depends with the question how it will come. You can be asked to calculate 8 decile, 7 decile, and all that. So let's calculate 9th decile. So it will be 9th decile. To calculate 9th decile, it will be equals to L1 plus, in bracket, n, you divide by 10. I've said you are dividing our data into 10 equal parts. N you divide by 10. N you divide by 10. Remember, it's 9. So we are getting 9 over 10 divided by 9 over 10 times n. Divide by, then you minus the cumulative frequency. Cumulative frequency before the 9th decile class. Then you divide by frequency of the decile class. Frequency of the decile class, then class interval. Good. Just that way. So we ask ourselves, how can we get the decile class? Because we have to know the class we are working with. You just take this one. So the decile class, it will be 9n over 10. So it will be 9 multiplied by 50 divided by 10. So I will have here 45 or 50, yeah? Yeah, that one. So this 45 is the one I'm going with it to the cumulative frequency column. This one. I'm going with it to the cumulative frequency column. Then I will ask myself, where can I accommodate that 45? So I will just come on my cumulative frequency column. I have 49 and I have 50. So I can accommodate it in 49 first. So that is it. I will accommodate it in 49. So this is where I will now declare this is my decile, 9th decile class I'll be working with. 9th decile class I'll be working with. 9th decile class I'll be working with. Good. After you have known your class, now you just pick the figures. You just pick the figures. We are working with a class of 170 to 174. 170 to 174. So after that, after I've identified that, I'll just do what? Our L1 will be what? 170, so it will be 169.5 plus 9n over 10. 9n over 10 we have gotten is 45 minus cumulative frequency before the quartile class is what? 37. You can even see it's 37. 37. Then you divide by the frequency of the decile class. Frequency of the decile class is 12. 12. Then class intervals is 174.5 minus 169.5 is 5. Good. So after you do that, you'll get your answer as our 9th decile. It will be, our 9th decile it will be what? After you do that, you'll get your answer as 172. You'll get your answer as 172.80. 172.80. So this is how we get the decile class. That is how we do the decile class. Good. Just easy that way and you're good to go. So let me take you through how to get the percentile. Percentiles now, you're dividing your data into 100 equal parts. You're dividing your data into 100 equal parts. 100 equal parts. So you can be asked maybe to get 80 percentiles. You can be asked to get 70 percentile, 60 percentile, name it. So it's just up to you to master these formulas. Just the way we are doing. That's why I started from the quartiles, deciles, and then percentile. So the same thing, let's do maybe 80 percentile. 80 percentile. So here you are dividing your data into 100 equal parts. 100 equal parts. You are dividing your data into 100 equal parts. You are dividing your data into 100 equal parts. Now, in case of 80 percentile, it will be the formula for 80 percentile is L1 plus 80n divided by 100 minus cumulative frequency before the 80 percentile class. 80 percentile class, you divide by the frequency of the 80 percentile class, then you multiply by the class interval of the percentile class. Just that way. Just that way. Good. So after you have done that, you ask yourself, how do we get the percentile class? Let me do it here for you. Let me use here. Percentile class. Percentile class. Good. Percentile class, let me use here because of space. How do you get percentile class? Very easy. The way we have been just doing, you'll use this 80n over 100. 80n over 100. So you just take n, which is 50. N, which is 50. So it will be 80 multiplied by 50. You divide by 100. You divide by 100. Good. If you do that, you'll have what? You'll have, if they divide this and this, I'll have here 40. 40. So this 40, I ask myself 40 in the cumulative frequency column. I'll come with it in the cumulative frequency column. Where can I accommodate it? You ask yourself that question. Where can I accommodate it? That 40. Immediate. We can accommodate it in 50, we can accommodate it in 49. But we want, if I just step in that column, where am I going to accommodate it first? I've seen I can accommodate it in the 49 part. 49. And it means our class will be 170 to 174. So I will also, the same class I used for the 90th decile is the same class I will use for 90 percentile. 90 percentile. Good. So you can do this even for 70 percentile. You can do this for 60 percentile, depending how the question they have set it for you. Good. So after you have identified your class, you now calculate the 80 percentile. So I will come and calculate my 80 percentile here. It will be my L1. L1 will be what? Now because I'm working with this class, it will be 169.5 plus 80 by that we got is what? 40 minus cumulative frequency before that class is what? 37. 37. Then you divide by frequency of that class is 12. You multiply by 5. Good. So if you do this, you'll realize your 80 percentile. Your 80 percentile is what? Your 80 percentile. You will land at your 80 percentile. You'll be able to land at what? 165 point that. You'll have to land at 170. 170.80. 170.80. Good. So that is how we do the percentiles, deciles, and quartiles and mean. Good. So what has remained for us, we will also come up with what we call the cumulative frequency curve or the ogive curve. The ogive curve will be able to use the ogive curve to calculate percentiles, the quartiles, and also even the median, name it. So I'll next part on the next session of this, I will come and teach you how to come up with the cumulative frequency or the ogive curve, and be able also to retrieve from the curve. We'll be able to retrieve the quartile, we'll be able to retrieve the deciles and the percentiles, even median. We'll be able to get from the ogive curve. So for today, I'll end our session there. Then ask you, if you are new to the channel, just subscribe so that you don't miss the video in case we come up with another one. Otherwise, wish you all the best wherever you are watching this, so that we can continue learning together. For today, I'll say bye-bye, and may God bless you. Thank you.